Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is May 28th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1963, one of the Samoan dynasty, Sam Fatu. 1968, oh boy, it's Barry O. 1974, the voice of TNA Impact, Jeremy Borash. 1986, it's the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins. And last but not least, England's own, in 1987, Joseph Connors. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for May 28th. 1983, Jacques Rougeau Sr. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for May 28th. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and going all the way back to 1921, Walter Miller wins the World Middleweight title for a second time, defeating Ted Thigh in Los Angeles, California. Moving ahead 16 years to 1937, Walter Achu defeats Sailor Watkins in a tournament final to become the first National Wrestling Association World Junior Light Heavyweight title in El Paso, Texas. 12 years later in 1949, Tarzan Lopez defeats Mike Kelly to win the NWA World Middleweight title, beginning his third reign. Grooving into the 60s and making two stops in 1965. First, Buddy Fuller defeats Mario Galento to win the NWA Georgia Heavyweight title. Our second stop in 65 sees Alberto and Enrique Torres defeat Curtis Iokea and Mr. Fujiwara for the NWA Hawaiian Tag Team titles. Just 1 year later in 1966, Crusher and Dick the Bruiser defeat Larry Hennig and Harley Race for the AWA World Tag Team titles in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Grabbing my bell bottoms and going to the 70s, 1974, where we see Red Bastion defeat the Great Mistifo for the world-class Texas Heavyweight title in Dallas, Texas. Fast forwarding 3 years to 1977 and making two stops, Tony St. Clair defeats Gwen Davies for the British Heavyweight title in Manchester, England. Our second stop in 1977, Jackie Fargo defeats the Executioner to win the NWA Mid-American Heavyweight title. Sticking with the NWA Mid-American Heavyweight title, but fast forwarding 1 year to 1978, Dutch Mantell defeats Don Garfield, aka Don Fargo, for that NWA Mid-American Heavyweight title. Our last stop in the 70s, 1979, King Curtis defeats Jim Garvin for the Florida version of the NWA Southern Heavyweight title in West Palm Beach, Florida. Grabbing my boombox and going to 1980, Rocky Brewer and George Goulas defeat Tojo Yamamoto and Gypsy Joe to win the NWA Mid-American Tag Team titles. 1985, we see Dino Bravo defeat King Tonga, aka Ming, for the vacant International Heavyweight title. Those were your short but sweet pro wrestling history highlights for May 28th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.